Hi, I'm Betsy from Betsy's Plumbing, and today I'm going to show you how to change out a drain for your sink. If you're just installing the sink and you need to figure out what size drain or type drain, we'll talk about that as well. And also I'm going to show you how I'm taking this one off right now and we're going to be putting it into place. So what I've got is some plumber's putty. If you buy a tub of this, it lasts a really good long time. It's kind of gooey, so for that reason, you're going to also want to have a rag on hand that you do not care about, something that's not going to go in the washing machine because you don't want any plumber's putty to touch anything else that you like. You're also going to want to have a wrench, a big wrench for the drain, the nut on the drain, and a tape measure to figure out what size drain you need if you're installing this for the first time. Just for context, this is where the bottle trap goes, or the kind of trap that you choose for your situation. And one thing that I was having problems with, which was bizarre, not on this particular sink, but sometimes you might need to troubleshoot. It might be leaking for whatever reason, installation, or it got knocked, or usually it's installation or user error. I find that I've had to go back and redo things every once in a while, but this was a particularly weird one. I kept finding that it was dripping, and I did not understand. I was tightening it, checking to see if the drain was on properly. I did find that the old bottle trap that was on there had gotten stripped, so I replaced the bottle trap, and water coming from right near the bottle trap stopped, but water from up above was actually happening too, which I hadn't noticed before. So I hand tightened once again, and with a wrench then this plastic ring on my drain. Well, obviously the ring had gotten stressed, very stressed, so stressed, I don't know if you can see it, it had broken into 3 pieces. So that's a really good lesson and something I might have forgotten to mention, but if you're ever using plastic products, they're usually just be hand tightened, like your bottle trap or a plastic ring on your drain. If there's still a little bit of leakage, then the most you should have to turn it again after you've hand tightened as well as you can is just a 1/4 turn. More than that can put too much strain on plastic parts, and you should try to avoid that if possible. So anyway, this sink, we're going to take off this drain, and it's really gooey because it has a lot of plumber's putty on it. But one thing I want you to do when you get your new drain in, you need to, when you take it apart, lay out the parts in the order that they came and the direction that they came. And I mean that because some of these parts can be upside down by mistake and they don't work as well when you're putting the drain back together. So what should come with your drain is an image that shows how parts go together, but sometimes it's just not there for whatever reason. So this is the sink that we're going to be working on today. This sink has obviously the drain hole and the overflow. And this is where I use my gross, disgusting rag that I don't care about, just to get any extra bits off, because you want a nice smooth join there. You don't want to have anything in the way of letting it seal properly when you install the drain. Now, one thing you're going to want to do, as I said, now you might already know this because maybe you ordered your sink off Amazon or from a plumber hardware store or whatever, and it lists what the size of the hole is. But you want to measure the hole. You want to be able to order your drain with confidence because look, this drain is 3.5 centimeters, while this one is 4. So this is obviously a 4 centimeter drain. The thing is, right now, for my purposes, I'm going to put this one back in because, can you see? This one has holes through the top of it. This one does not. These things right here are called slots. This is a slotted drain. This is a non-slotted drain. You use a slotted drain when you have an overflow. Don't use a slotted drain when you don't have an overflow, and don't use a regular drain when you do have an overflow. So slotted drains for overflows. Also, depending on what you prefer, this is a flip top, which I've come to really love, and I'll tell you why. I had matte black topped drains, and I actually haven't installed this one yet, but plain silver dome pop tops. Sometimes I've had these stop working, which is a really annoying thing, but also if you live in a hard water area like we do, a few drips of water onto, if it's a stainless steel one, they collect at the edges and then form a whitish ring that's really unappealing, and it's constant. 1 or 2 drops can make it do that every day. So I've decided I actually prefer these because that stays open like that. There's less surface to collect water, for water to sit on and get that hard water ring. Anyway, so if we're going to install this, first what we do is we get our plumber's putty, and I usually use a screwdriver that I have placed in a weird spot. Here it is. Plumber's putty is like this. It's kind of it doesn't run, it's putty, but it's really not fun to get on. Well, I don't mind it on my hands, obviously, after all these years, but you might find it kind of gross. It's kind of like Play-Doh, but stickier, okay? So now I've got a bit in my hand. You're gonna wanna rub it like you're rolling like a snake, like you used to do it with Play-Doh, okay? Then you just place it around your tap like that. Place it on there, like that. And then you put it into here, right? You want to pull it down, push it really hard. So the plumber's putty, I don't know if you can see, I'll turn the sink a little bit. You can see where it starts to come out. It gets squeezed out here. And you can clean that off later with a screwdriver, but you want it to definitely do that. You want it to make a strong seal. So then at this point, I turn over my sink and put whatever rings have come with it back on. Like I said, you want to keep the order. Turn this sink back around. So I've put one of the rings on, then I put the flat non-rubber ring on to tighten down a metal nut. Okay, so you put those 2 on there and you tighten it down, get it started, and then just like this. Now, it's got to be super tight. Even though you've got the plumber's putty and all these rings, you just want to make sure it's super tight. So first with your hands, tighten it down as much as you can, like this. But if you find then after a while you can't go any further, or first let's do this. So very gently, be careful with this big wrench around your sink. Sinks can get cracked with a good knock on them, so you don't want to have that. So hold this, hold the drain as you turn the wrench so it gets nice and tight. See, the sink is even turning. Pull it on around. There. Okay. So what we should see up above, and I don't know if you noticed, I went ahead and put the unslotted drain in because today I've just ordered a new one that's slotted, but for our purposes, I wanted to just show how you install this. Now, what you'll see is, if you can, even more of the plumber's putty has come out, squeezed out here, but that's excellent. That means you're making a very solid seal for your drain. And here's what you do to test it. Before you install this sink, you want to know that it's not going to leak. So you want to close it and then pour water in. Let's do that now. So we're pouring some water while it's sitting here. Any water coming out below? It's not dripping. That's a good sign. It's a really good sign. Okay, you might want to let it sit for a couple minutes, but if it doesn't leak now, it shouldn't leak. So then I'll carry this to the sink, pour it out, and then take this to where I'm going to install it. If you have any questions, if you start to install a sink, or before you start to install a sink, if you have questions about what kind of drain you need, about what size, how to install it, I'm here for you. just go to my website and book a consultation, a 30-minute consultation, and we can chat about your project and get you ready to go. And or if you're in the middle of it and you don't know how to finish, let me know and I can talk you through it. Thanks for joining me, and see you again soon. Bye for now.